The decorative designs on these fabrics are different in many ways. Not just in size and colour, but also in the shapes that they make. But there are also many similarities between them. In particular, the ways the designs are composed have a lot in common. Decorative designs can be found in the earliest artifacts and in every culture. This tent hanging was made in this century, as were these mud cloths. But this South American material is over 2,000 years old. In creating new designs, it helps to appreciate both what is possible and the limitations. That's where art and design meet mathematics. In seeking ways to create new designs, it's useful to characterize the properties of existing ones, to describe them mathematically, and to find a way of classifying them. All the designs we are considering are based on the idea of repetition, of ways of repeating some basic motif. But what exactly is a repeating motif? For simplicity's sake on this video band, we'll focus mainly on shapes and largely ignore colour. This material is over 500 years old and has this as a motif. To construct the design, the basic motif is simply translated horizontally. There's translation too in this design, of the blue leaf motif. Another way of generating designs is by reflection. This simple design is formed by first reflecting the basic motif and then translating it. So reflection and translation are two ways of generating designs. But the generation of designs often involves another common transformation, namely rotation. Here, the blue and black motif has been rotated, and there's also rotation in the composition of other parts of the design. A rotation is specified by a centre of rotation and an angle. Now, the designs on this material include the vertical translation of a diamond-shaped motif. But elsewhere, the fabric design contains other transformations. Here, a translation on its own won't work, because the two leaf-shaped motifs are of opposite orientations. So how could we get a copy of one from the other? Well, one way is first to translate vertically and then reflect. But another way might be to reflect first and then translate. A glide reflection is a reflection followed by a translation, or vice versa. In fact, there are always several ways to achieve the same overall transformation. Let's have another look at the blue leaf pattern. To turn the corner, the blue motif first has to be rotated through an angle of π/2 and then translated vertically. But by ignoring the colour of the leaf and considering only its shape, more of the border could be generated from the basic outline by reflection, rotation, and translation. In fact, there often isn't a single, simplest motif. Rather, there are lots of different ways of choosing a simple bit of a design to repeat. Even this could be seen as a single bird reflected in water. The sometimes startling effect of a design is often due to the contrast between what we might expect to happen mathematically and the realization of the actual design. So are all designs created by some combination of reflection, rotation, and translation? Well, that is true here, because we're limiting ourselves to look only at those designs which repeat a single motif in some regular way, and where the generating motif stays the same size. Mathematicians call transformations which preserve lengths isometries, from the Greek iso meaning the same, and metric meaning measurement of distance. This design might seem fairly complicated, but what do you see as repeating motifs? And how are your chosen motifs repeated? For the moment, don't choose anything too small, just look for something obvious, something that has clearly been rotated or translated, or both, all over the fabric. One choice you might have made is this blue and black one. Indeed, if you ignore the colours, the overall pattern can be generated by successive rotations of this blue and black motif. But you may have spotted other repeated motifs. There's this six-pointed flower shape, for instance. And this one, 3 orange diamonds joined by a white blob. Both the six-pointed flower and the 3 orange diamonds have been copied all over the fabric by translations and rotations. So instead of being generated by the blue and black motif, the whole pattern could instead be thought of as generated by a combination of 2 motifs, the flower one and the 3 diamond one. But can you see how these 3 large motifs could be thought of as the combination of smaller ones? Well, the blue and black one could be divided into 4. So the overall single blue and black motif is actually the result of reflecting and rotating a quarter of itself. The flower can be generated by rotating each of its petals, but each petal is also the reflection of half a petal. If we ignore the white blob, the 3 diamond motif is made from rotating a single diamond. But even that can be made from reflecting smaller triangles. There are only 4 possible isometric transformations: reflection, translation, rotation, and glide reflection. Let's end this video by looking at even more designs. Again, what do you think are the basic motifs? And which of the 4 kinds of transformation have been used to repeat them?